What's up, guys? Welcome back to our front line. It's your girl Samar, and me and Crystal are back at it again. Yeah, look at that lovely shirt in the background. It says, I joined the tribe of Judah, and all I got was this fringe shirt. I wish I could actually make those and put them out there. Send them to a few people out there like, no matter what, they're going to cling to Judah. They, listen, everything we're learning together. And let me take a moment to thank y'all for being here and learning this with me together. I couldn't do this without you guys. Every so often, y'all will drop something in the comments that just keeps me going. Thank you for that. Because I know what I'm saying is not the popular opinion. Like I was saying, everything we're finding out, guys, is in this book. It's been here. But when you have an opinion of somebody, it's like the honeymoon phase. You know what I'm saying? When you first meet somebody, you're enamored by them. You don't pay attention that they got an annoying habit of snoring loudly. You know what I'm saying? Because you're so enamored with them. You can see past that. For some reason, people have been in the honeymoon phase with Judah for a long, long time. Everything we're learning is in this book, guys. It ain't no mystery. It's just that when you're enamored, you don't want to see this type of stuff. You know, we have no inheritance with the house of David, right? Ain't that in First Kings? This stuff was told to us already, guys. But because we were so enamored with the tribe of Judah, we would get ready to sell over our inheritance for this dumbass shirt in the background. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of people about to sell out their inheritance for that dumb shirt in the background, and they don't even realize it. You understand what I'm saying? Look at what time it is, guys. We're bringing in the morning together. Yes, we are. They're not dedicated to this like this. No, they're not. I've been up since 4 something. They're not dedicated to this like that. Remember last week I told you sponsor their lifestyles? They don't know what it is to have to get up and do a job. They will tell you, hey, I need this money to help me do this research. Really? Samar got 2 jobs in doing this research and coming to conclusions better than your own. So I don't know what all of the sponsoring is for. You need to get your ass up and earn it by the sweat of your brow, like Mama said. But Israel, you love to hear him tell you lies, man. Pick up the book yourself. This stuff is in the book. Don't you let yourself walk away with one of these dumbass t-shirts. Please don't. You got everlasting hills to get to. Don't you want your family running on those everlasting hills right now? Right now, we could use running on those everlasting hills, couldn't we, guys? We could use that dew from heaven, couldn't we? And I know Mama even knows we deserve to guard the fatness of that earth. It's your inheritance. Don't give it away, Israel. Ephraim. So, guys, while we talking about this tribe of Judah, hey guys, they got to come back in the fold. Yeah, they do, because today I want to bring, I want to bring our uncle to the table. So, right off the bat, I'm gonna tell you guys, any of my smokers, go roll you up a nice one. Um, we're gonna be here for just a little while, guys. We got a lot to cover. I already got my cup of coffee and my smoke, so we're ready to roll. We're going to be here for a while. I want to talk about Manasseh today. Yeah, we need to bring Manasseh. Uncle Manasseh, you up next. We need you at the table. We sure do. Now, I have bought in that there was a king named Manasseh. There was, but apparently he's from the line of Hezekiah. That's not saying that there's no relation, but clearly they revered Manasseh for a reason, that they would allow a king on their throne to be named after Manasseh. Could we all agree? All right. So I want to go to the top of Manasseh. I wanted to figure out, how do we get here? How do we get here? How did we go from last week? Joseph is trying to intervene because he knows that this sibling rivalry is going to continue if his father don't give that firstborn blessing to the firstborn. And what did I say happens? It continues. We got a few books to go through, but I'm going to show you how we got here, guys. And how that tribe on that t-shirt has always got his hand on the neck of somebody. He always does. And they revere this tribe. This is, listen, all of this is in the book. You know, you can have a judgmental eye. You could say to yourself, man, this don't look right, man. Why is Judah doing all of this? But they don't do it for whatever reason. We over here, we different. We got our judgmental eye on. This discernment to see that something, this ain't what you're supposed to be doing, man. How is this righteous? Right? Let's dig into it. I want to talk a little bit about the tribe of Manasseh. To bring y'all into some of this stuff about their territory, right? The tribe of Manasseh, Jacob's blessing. We read it last week, right? Let me close this out. And he blessed them that day, saying, by you, Israel, shall pronounce blessing, saying, may God make you like Ephraim and Manasseh. Thus he put Ephraim before Manasseh. What did I tell y'all last week? There can only be one. Somebody got to be at the top of this blessing. All right? And so far, what we've been seeing is only one person can be at the top of that blessing. There is no division between no 12 tribes. These dudes just like to take over, okay? They like to lay claim on what is yours, Israel. Ephraim. All right? See, here's this thing with this firstborn thing, this obsession, right? Moses' blessing. As the firstborn of his ox, majesty is his, and his horns are the horns of the wild ox, which is Leah, right? With them he shall push the people all at once for the ends of the earth. And those are the 10,000s of Ephraim, and those are the thousands of Manasseh. So let's get to the land. As the firstborn of Joseph, Manasseh received the double portion of the inheritance. I got to double check that, guys. I got to fact check that, all right? Because I just been focused on like the transition of Manasseh, but I want to really dig into this land stuff, guys, because I think it's really important for us to hone in on the land and see if there's any credibility in this. I mean, is it feasible that Joseph would have given Manasseh a double portion? It is feasible to me because he would have wanted to try to write it somehow. But the land is supposed to be connected, well, at least the everlasting hills, to Ephraim. So he could have never gave him those lands, period. Okay? Those lands are connected to Ephraim specifically. That is a locality. That is some land coordinates that fall right under Ephraim. All right? So he couldn't have gave him that. But could he have given him a double portion of something else? It's feasible. But I want to fact check that. All right, so this article is going to tell us Manasseh received the double portion of inheritance. despite Ephraim's greater blessing of the influence and prosperity. I don't buy that bullshit. I don't like how this article is saying it's just influence and prosperity. So we're going to fact check that possibly next week. The tribe of Manasseh received a double portion of land upon Israel's, conquest. Manasseh received land in the Transjordan, east of the Jordan, and a large portion of land on the west of the Jordan. All right. Manasseh thus was the only of the 12 tribes of Israel to receive an inheritance on both sides of the Jordan River. The double portion of Manasseh's rightful inheritance as firstborn son was manifested in the double portion of land allotted the tribe of Manasseh. Hence, it's necessary when discussing the inheritance of the tribe of Manasseh to think in terms of East Manasseh and West Manasseh. East and West may be used to denote each side through this article. According to Scripture, the first inheritance for the tribe of Manasseh was handed out east of the Jordan to East Manasseh in Transjordan. However, the heartland of the northern kingdom of Israel would be found west of the Jordan and tribal territory of West Manasseh. Now, here's the funny thing. I noticed that they say, according to Scripture, the first inheritance for the tribe of Manasseh. So this makes me question, see right here, do later on they get the west side, but it's not a real inheritance. They just swooped on in and took it. I'm trying to tell y'all something this was going on. So notice the distinction. That's why I said we got to dig into this ourselves. All right, the first allotment of the land was given in the Transjordan by Moses himself. It was given to the tribes of Reuben and Gad. BS, you see what I'm saying? It was a lot going on here. Moses ain't got no right to be handing out no land. Should have been Joshua dividing up the land. I want to see how they get to the west. The sons of Machir, Manasseh. See, this is in Numbers. How they was running around, retaking land and things like that. Let me see. Do they make a distinction about the west? Because that Machir name is very important, guys. It's going to come up later on. Awfully close over here to Ammon and Moab, Edom. I don't know why I said it like that. Edom. All right, West Manasseh. The tribe of Manasseh received an inheritance west of the Jordan River, which would come to shape the interior of Israel. Their inheritance was given by Joshua at the second allocation of the land at Gilgal. The allocation accommodated the tribe of Ephraim, the tribe of Manasseh, and the tribe of Judah. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Like something is not right with this divvying up of land, because I don't know. It's just why would Judah even be this close in proximity to Ephraim and Manasseh? The maps I've seen, it was supposed to be Benjamin that was close. So we really gotta dig into the land, y'all. Because yeah. All right, so I just want y'all to see that Manasseh and Ephraim are supposed to be in close proximity to each other. All right. Let's read right here. And the border went down to the brook of Cana, southward of the brook. These cities belonged to Ephraim among the cities of Manasseh. And the border of Manasseh was on the north side of the brook, and it ended at the sea. The south side belonged to Ephraim, and the north side to Manasseh, and the sea was their border. They reached to Asher on the north and to Issachar on the east. It says it was a rugged land tucked in the highlands of the western mountains. What I told y'all, it's going to be close to those Rocky Mountains, because the Rocky Mountains are the deposits for the fat of the earth. All right. Some of the Old Testament's mostly holy mountains were found within Manasseh borders. Mount Gerizim, Mount Elba, and I told y'all it's got the feet here. So we can actually probably cross-reference this to Crystal to find out what mountains, match this height right here, and probably hone in on, these specific mountains. It says they were the primary holy mountains within the tribe of Manasseh. Just to the northwest was Mount Carmel. To the immediate north lay the southern portions of the Jezreel Valley. specifically the plain of Esdraelon. All right, so this is, it's going to go into talking about the land. Oh, look at this. So Joshua, when it came to West Manasseh, would drive out the Canaanites from these cities. His expectation likely stemmed from the performance of the tribe of Manasseh against the mighty king Og, right? So this is why I wanted to bring this in. This tribe was able to defeat a giant, right? Now, they will hone in on David fighting one giant. This tribe was able to defeat um, Og of Bashan, okay? But they don't talk about it, right? Now, here's the thing. They give Judah more glory than they would even give Manasseh, considering Manasseh actually fought Og of Bashan and did a good job, apparently, right? We're going to read a little further. But I want to bring this up for one reason right now. Later on, you're going to see Manasseh not able to fight all of a sudden this mightily, okay? Even though it seems like Machir is still at the wheel. So I say to myself, how is this possible? They were able to wipe out these giants right here, Og of Bashan, but when it comes to defending the borders of your brother's land, you're not able to fight these people. Okay, sound like you just turning a blind eye and letting people run amok is what it's going to look like later on. So hold on to this thought, guys. These dudes wipe out this dude who is supposed to be like, I think, the Rephaim, which is like the lineage of whatever happened with the Nephilim situation, okay? So how is it possible you're able to do that but not able to... All right, y'all going to see when we get to that other verse. So let's keep going. Let's talk about this. So the performance of the tribe of Manasseh against the mighty Amorite kings Og and Sihon. Sorry, it's two kings, okay? As stated in the opening verse of Joshua 17, the eldest son of Manasseh, Machir, was a man of war. Joshua's charge to the tribe of Manasseh is recorded in Joshua 17 and 18. But the hill country shall be yours. For though it is a forest, you shall clear it, and to its furthest borders it shall be yours. For you shall drive out the Canaanites, even though they have chariots of iron, though they are strong. The second time we see that chariots of iron, right, guys? Unfortunately, the tribe of Manasseh was unable to drive out these Canaanites. Joshua's charge was not realized until the time of David and Solomon during the United Monarchy. I thought they would coincide. I thought so. All right, what they're saying is, Joshua was hoping that they would defend these borders, but they were unable to, and all of this is coinciding with David. What did I tell y'all? This is when it started. This is when this confederacy starts. Watch, check it out. So it says these Canaanite strongholds were right here, coupled with Israel's. So I'm trying to highlight that so y'all know where we're at. Right here, guys. Coupled with Israel's lack of faith in certain instances, prevented Israel from fulfilling the order by God given through Moses and Joshua to inhabit the land completely. The Canaanites were especially menacing towards the tribe of Manasseh and the tribe of Issachar. This, however, did not signify God's promise had gone or would go unfulfilled. Look, King David and Solomon finally drove out the Canaanites from these strongholds. No, they didn't. They were married into them. In fact, the Bible attests to Solomon building up Megiddo's city gate and defenses. All right, we're going to see where this Megiddo used to belong to, though. Archaeology has shown that just such repairs did occur in Megiddo during the time period of Solomon. Critics, however, are quick to point out we cannot be sure this is Solomon's handiwork. Neither can we be absolutely sure it isn't. The Bible confirms these repairs and credits them to Solomon. What do you know? Judah glorifying itself, right? But they love to do this type of stuff. They love to tell you the shit they did. All right. You just got to pay attention that they did these things. Like when you go into the book where Solomon is building this quote temple, Solomon up here doing stuff in this thing. He's putting solid gold in his palaces and his harlot's palace. But when it came to the temple, to the worship areas, he was one, putting in idols, and two, using gold plated stuff. All right, solid gold in his stuff, but gold plated stuff in the temple. So clearly, this could not have been to our creator. All right. So I told you, the creator keeps saying, "Where's this palace you built for me?" All right. So I don't want to get too deep into this. I want you guys to go ahead and read some of this. All right. And get caught up, because we would be here all day if I was to get into this. Oh, but here's where they're going to show. Remember, they said they were close to Judah, right? But here's where they're going to show you that Benjamin. I don't, I don't know. Unless we're talking about there was an east locality they said too, but so I don't know if Judah moved in and took the east locality where you see Zebulon and Issachar get into that land, y'all. All right. They talk about the birth of Manasseh. Genesis 41, 50, and 52 records the birth of Manasseh. At the time, Joseph was living in Egypt, operating as second in command to Pharaoh himself. God had revealed to Joseph that Egypt would experience 7 years of plenty, followed by 7 years of drought and famine. During the 7 years of plenty, Joseph had given two sons. He was given two sons through his wife, Asenath. We're going to have to get into Asenath too, guys. There's a lot there. Asenath was the daughter of Potiphar. Potiphar was a priest of the sun god in the city of on Heliopolis. All right, so it says, now before the year of famine came, two sons were born to Joseph, whom Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar, the priest of On, bore to him. And Joseph named the firstborn Manasseh, for he said, God has made me forget all my troubles and all my father's household. The name Manasseh thus translates literally as making to forget. All right, it's important that you guys hold on to that name. With the birth of his first son, Joseph had put the past behind him. God had blessed him during his tribulation and now had given him a child. Joseph had a family of his own now. The birth of both Manasseh and Ephraim took place within the 7 years of abundance. Precisely within this window, however, it's not given in Scripture. Perhaps the oldest Greek novel in existence tells the story of Manasseh's mother, Joseph and Asenath, in the 1st century, written by a Jewish author. Like I told you, if it doesn't line up with Torah first, I don't get into these extra books like that. I mean, that content can be useful. All right, so you guys do yourself a favor. Check out this article when you guys get a chance. Get caught up with Manasseh. We'd be here all day, and we don't got all day right now. So let's go. I want to take y'all to Judges. This is after the death of Joshua, right? Joshua, like I told y'all, led us into the promised land. He got to actually see it. He's allotting land. You know, um, he is serving as a leader. Okay, um, so he dies. Right, Israel, it says, is fighting the remaining Canaanites. All right, after the death of Joshua, the Israelites asked the Lord, "Who of us is to go up first to fight against the Canaanites?" The Lord answered, "Judah shall go up. I've given the land into their hands." Pause. Y'all buying that? Are y'all buying that? Who wrote this? Who y'all think wrote that? Okay. So let's go into this book, realizing that even though that's said, we know better than this. We know better than this. This was Ephraim's land. So, excuse me. All right, so let's go. Now we got discernment going into this. Let's go down to 3. The men of Judah then said to the Simeonites, Reuben and Simeon, right, won't have a portion, their fellow Israelites, come up with us into the territory allotted to us to fight against the Canaanites. We will in turn go with you into yours, right? So the Simeonites went into them. What territory did the Simeonites have, please? Because Ephraim and Manasseh are like Reuben and Simeon. Isn't that what was said last week? So what territory do the Simeonites have? So already you see what's going on, right? All right, so let's go. Joshua's dead. We don't got nobody at the wheel who gonna lay these dudes down. They must have been terrified of Joshua, that Ephraimite. They must have been terrified of him. They better stay terrified, because Ephraim ain't no joke. When Judah attacked, the Lord gave the Canaanites and Perizzites into their hands, and they struck down 10,000 men at Bezek. It was there they found. Let me brighten this screen. Hold on, guys. It says, it was there they found Adonai Bezek, so that would be Lord Bezek, and fought against him, putting to rout the Canaanites and Perizzites. Adonai Bezek fled, but they chased him and caught him, cut off his thumbs and big toe. Then Adonai Bezek said, 70 kings with their thumbs and big toes cut off have picked up scraps under my table. Now God has paid me back for what I did to them. They brought him to Jerusalem, and he died there. The men of Judah attacked Jerusalem also and took it. They put the city to sword and set it on fire. All right, Jerusalem is the same as Bethel, right? So they're in the territory of Ephraim doing this. They're just not saying this, right? After that, Judah went down to fight against the Canaanites living in the hill country, the Negev and the western foothills. They advanced against the Canaanites living in Hebron, formerly called Kiriath Arba, and defeat Sheshai, Ahiman, and Talmai. From there, they advanced against the people living in Debir, formerly called Kiriath Sepher. And Caleb said, I will give my daughter Aksa in marriage to the man who attacks and captures Kiriath Sepher. Othniel, son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother, took it. So Caleb gave his daughter Aksha to him in marriage. All right, so this is her marrying her nephew, okay, or uncle. One day when she came to Othniel, she urged him to ask her father for a field. When she got off her donkey, Caleb asked her, what can I do for you? She replied, do me a special favor. Since you have given me land in Negev, give me also springs of water. So Caleb gave her the upper and lower springs. Pause. Who had the upper and lower springs, guys? Who made the upper and lower springs? We covered this. Shira. So when the Creator says that somebody took the pools but never looked to the maker thereof, this is what that's referencing. All right, so pay attention. She takes the upper and lower pools, not hers. That's Ephraim's. The descendants of Moses' father-in-law, all right, the Kenites, went up from the city of palms with the people of Judah to live amongst the inhabitants of the desert of Judah in the Negev. All right, so Moses' daddy-in-law, Jethro, and them, they still rolling around with Judah. Okay, Judah is rolling with everybody because Hebron, remember, We're going to get to that word. We know what it means. It means confederacy. So this is this League of Nations that they're starting. Then the men of Judah, and I don't know if it's a reference to the literal League of Nations currently, but I'm telling you, this is where that's rooted in that idea of it. The men of Judah went with the Simeonites, their fellow Israelites. See, this is where they attach themselves like a motherfucking leech to Israel. All right? Right here, talking about their fellow Israelites. Since when? Since when? Last week, it went to Ephraim. All right? Manasseh could have had a portion, but Manasseh's getting in bed with Judah. As we can see, Samon's showing you guys. Okay? So since when you're an Israelite? Huh? Mofos ain't no goddamn Israelite. They are leeches. And it continues to this day. To this day, they're on YouTube like leeches attaching themselves to Israel. Well, Ephraim is Israel. Judah don't got nothing to do with Israel. Go to your tents, Israel. We ain't got no portion with the house of David. And David ain't got no portion with us. All right? So here you see it starting. This lie. Didn't I tell you, come into this book with your hat on, realizing they wrote this. And we're going to get to why that's important, that they definitely wrote this. Watch. It's going to be a long episode, but stick with it. So, the fellow Israelites, quote, air fingers, all right? The fellow Israelites, Judah went with the Simeonites, their fellow Israelites, lie, and attacked the Canaanites living in Zephath. And they totally destroyed the city. Therefore, it was called Hormah. Judah also took Gaza, Ashkelon, and Ephraim, each city with its territory. The Lord was with the men of Judah. They took possession of the hill country, but they were unable to drive the people from the plains because they had chariots fitted with iron. A lie, because Joshua said they would happen. And Moses had promised Hebron was given to Caleb, who drove it from the 3 sons of Anak. The Benjamites, however, did not drive out the Jebusites, who were living in Jerusalem. To this day, the Jebusites live there with the Benjamites. But remember, Judah's marrying the Canaanites. So now the tribes of Joseph attacked Bethel, and the Lord was with them. When they sent men to spy out Bethel, formerly called Luz, see how the city keep transferring, the spies saw a man coming out of the city, and they said to him, "Show us how to get into the city, and we will see that you're treated well." So he showed them, and they put the city to the sword, but spared the man and his family. But then went to the land of the Hittites, where he built a city and called it Luz, which is the name to this day. But Manasseh did not drive out the people of Bethshan. All right, pay attention to these cities. This is where Manasseh was supposed to drive these people out. All right, pay attention to these cities. But Manasseh did not drive out the people of Bethshan or Tanakh, Dor, Ibleam, or Megiddo. Right, remember Megiddo and their surrounding settlements. For the Canaanites were determined to live in that land. When Israel became strong, they pressed the Canaanites into forced labor, but never drove them out completely. Nor did Ephraim drive Canaanites living in the Gezer, but the Canaanites to continue to live there among them. I don't buy that. Neither did Zebulun drive out the Canaanites living in Kitron or Nahalal. So these Canaanites lived among them, but Zebulun did subject them to forced labor. Nor did Asher drive out these living in Akko or Sidon. The Asherite lived amongst the Canaanites inhabitant of the land, because they did not drive them out. Neither did Naphtali drive out those in Beth Shemesh or Beth Anath, but the Naphtalites too live among the Canaanites, the inhabitants of the land. And those living in Beth Shemesh and Beth Anath became forced laborers for them. The Amorites confined the Danites to the hill country, not allowing them to come down into the plain. And the Amorites were determined also to hold out in Mount Heres, Ajalon, and Shalbim. But when the power of the tribes of Joseph increased, they too were pressed into forced labor. All right. The boundary of the Amorites was from the Scorpion Pass to Selah and beyond. All right, so I want to go back. Remember, they done stole the upper and lower pools. Okay. They're marrying the Canaanites, and they won't defend these cities. Where'd it go to? Caleb's giving away his daughter. She's taking land that don't belong to her. Sound like that movie Brave. Remember, I told y'all that. Okay, Manasseh won't defend these cities right here. Bethshan, Tanakh, Dor, Ibleam, or Megiddo. The surrounding settlements for the Canaanites. All right, they were determined to live in that land, it's telling us, right? Let's go back to our folder. All right, I'm going to prove to you guys once again, for the newbies, what Hebron actually means. Let's go on down to the international definition. Right here, Hebron, a league or confederacy. It's also translated into Chevron. Okay, it's a league or confederacy, just like we said over here. What is it, Psalms 89? Which one is it, guys? I should have brought that in here. I want to get to the name of this other city. Now, remember, it said it was also called Kirk Arbor, four cities, which makes me think of the four corners. The name Kirk Arbor occurs 10 times in the Bible, 9 times in the construction of Hebron, formerly known as Kirk Arbor, or something to that extent. We hear first of Kirk Arbor as the place where Sarah died. This prompted Abraham to buy the cave at Machpelah near Mamre from Ephraim the Hittite as a burial site. Abraham's son Isaac also died at Kirk Arbor. During the conquest of Canaan, we learned that Kirk Arbor was founded by Arbor, the father of gigantic Anakim. It was conquered by Caleb, son of Jephunneh, who drove out 3 sons of Anak. Remember, we talked about how Joshua was the original one to drive out the sons. They were driven out of the town but survived the battle, and after the death of Joshua, the men of Judah finished them off. Bullshit. The only time that Kirk Arbor is mentioned in direct conjunction with Hebron is after the Babylonian exile. Conveniently, they got the pen, what I tell you. Nehemiah makes mention of the Judaic returns who moved to Kirk Arbor, or rather Kirk Ha-Arbor. But it's not clear if this is Hebron. It seems curious that Nehemiah would use the antique name of Hebron, which is used only 9 times in text that covers the pre-monarchy period, and always together with the name Hebron. While the authors of Samuel, Kings, and Chronicles use the name Hebron about 4 dozen times and leave Kirk Arbor out. We suspect that Nehemiah's Kirk Arbor is not the same as Hebron, but rather a collective of 4 cities of the Gibeonites. Etymology. It's going to get pretty long here. It means to cool off. So get into this Abraham Publications. I want to get down here to the meaning. For a meaning of the name Kirk Arbor, the Jones Dictionary of Old Testament Proper Names, and the NOBSE Study Bible Name List reads the city of Arbor, but the NOBSE adds, or fourfold city. The BDB Theological Dictionary surprisingly forgoes the obvious reference to Arbor, the founder of Kirk Arbor, and reads probably fourfold city. Here at the publication, we suspect that Nehemiah's Kirk Arbor indeed means 4 city, or city of 4. But Kirk Arbor as Hebron means city of the theory of 4, or even city of calculus. According to Joshua 15:15, Kirk Arbor was situated close to Koroth Sefer, meaning city of books. And these two towns clearly formed a city of learning. All right? Okay? This is why they want this city. Let's keep going. We're going to go to Harsepher. Let's go to that one. Because it's important that you understand how this connection with Judah and their pen. Remember when we read the scribes and their pen from this evil family, right? Check this out. The name Curve Sefer, record city, the record city. Look at me, record city. The record city, guys. The scribe town. What is it? The scribe town. What's a scribe, guys? A person who copies out documents, especially one employed to do this before printing was invented. Unbelievable. From the noun city and the noun record. Sepharvim is linked to this word, guys. City of seven. Kerf Sefer was the original name of a city later called Debir. It was also known as Kerf Sana when the boundaries of the land of Judah were established. I need to get to the bottom of what that Sana is. Caleb, the son of Jephthah, received his own territory, and Debir was in it. Caleb proclaimed that whoever captured it would receive his daughter. Remember, I told you I sound like Brave. For a wife, Caleb's nephew, Othniel, son of Kenaz, rose up to the challenge, captured the city, and became Caleb's son-in-law. While Othniel had his mind set on warring and betting, Achsah opted for settling down and asked her father for a field with springs, which she promptly received. What is in the springs, y'all? What do y'all think? It's probably no coincidence. The author of the story depicts the man who conquered the city of learning as one who retires from combat and begins to listen to his wife. Bullshit. He begins to become indoctrinated or forming this path to indoctrinate others. Othniel became Israel's first judge. How? How? You ain't Ephraim. You ain't Israel. He successfully battled the oppressing King Cushan of Aram and governed the land for 40 peaceful years. All right. I want to get down to the meaning. You guys can skim through the etymology. For the meaning of the name Kerf Sefer, both the NOBSE and the Jones Old Testament proper name reads City of Books. Although the word Sefer is not technically a plural form, in the case of books, or rather records, is the proper translation, as say Dogtown would be a town of many dogs, rather than one. The Theological Dictionary proposes perhaps scribe town for a meaning of Kerf Sefer, and the Septuagint doesn't transliterate this name, but translates it as the city of writing. Polis Grammaton. They always talk about Grammaton. It's the city of writing, the city of the scribes. What did they open this book with? Talking about the tribe of Judah succeeded the tribe of Ephraim after Joshua died. Y'all believe that bullshit? I don't. Hell no. This is where they came in and leached themselves to the tribe of Israel. That's what happened right before our eyes. We saw it in real time. We just found it. Let's keep going. I want to get here to 1 Chronicles and 7 for a second. I want to get over here. Remember, I told you to remember the names of those towns that your boy Manasseh was not trying to hold down. I want to get down to the lands down here. Well, we can read the whole of this because it's short. This is for Ephraim. Look where they put Ephraim now. All right, this is 1 Chronicles. You know who leads when they start talking about their lineage, Judah? Okay, this is how you know they wrote these books. Okay, but you're gonna put Ephraim in First Chronicles 7 under Issachar, under Benjamin, under Naphtali, under Manasseh. Here go Ephraim. You see how they do us? Anyway, the descendants of Ephraim: Shulthelah, Bered his son, Tabith his son, Elidah his son, Tahath his son, Zabad his son, and Shuthalah his son. Ezer and Eliad were killed by native-born men of Gath when they went down to seize their livestock. Their father Ephraim mourned for many days, and his relatives came to comfort him. Then he made love to his wife again, and she became pregnant. Notice who he made love to: his wife, and she gave birth to a son. Not no concubines, not no harlots, not no wives who belong to other people, not no Canaanites, not no Moabites, not no Midianites. His wife. He came from Berea because there had been misfortune in his family. His daughter was Shira, who built the lower and upper Beth Horon, as well as Uz and Shira, who I told you built the lower and upper springs. Who stole it right before our eyes? Repha was his son, Reshpha his son, Telah his son, and Tahan his son, Ladan his son, Amehud his son, Elishama his son, right? That's Elizabeth, Nun his son, and Joshua his son. So this is Joshua's territory, right? Now check it out. Their lands and settlements include Bethel, right? Bethel, which was once who? Luz, which they keep hijacking, which is now Jerusalem. Whose was it? It was Joshua's. And its surrounding villages near Ron to the east, Gezer and its villages to the west, and Shechem, its villages, all the way to Aya in its villages. Along the borders of Manasseh were Bethshan, Tanakh, Megiddo, Dor, together with their villages. The descendants of Joshua, son of Israel, lived in these towns. What was the towns Manasseh didn't want to guard? That's for some reason Manasseh was able to take down two king giants, but couldn't guard these territories right here, huh? Couldn't, for whatever reason, could not guard these territories right here. Remember I showed y'all those towns? These are the border towns of Manasseh. They can't hold their brother down, but for some reason they can take down a giant. But you can't, you struggle when it come to Bethshan, Tanakh, Megiddo, and Dor, where the descendants of your brother live. That sounds mighty convenient, don't it? That's that blind eye they turned and let these mofos run amok and harass and plague and terrorize your brother. That's that pattern that I told you exists amongst these mofos, right? Remember when Judah called in Assyria for us? It just got worse and worse. Their tactics got worse and worse. They went from turning a blind eye to us with Manasseh to calling in an assassinating nation like Assyria to wipe us out, where they stapled our skin to their temples, where they decapitated us, where they burned our children alive. These are the tactics of this league, this confederacy. They will stop at nothing to wipe you out, Israel. Ephraim, they're going to turn a blind eye, let mofos run amok while they can wipe out giants, right? They got a man of war amongst them in Machir, but Machir going to let them run amok when it comes to these territories, right? Just showing you something, Israel. Don't be like these mofos and turn. We about to stop turning blind eyes around this joint. Calling these mofos out that's handing these people these t-shirts. Joining themselves to these tribes. Manasseh, the older son of Joseph and Asenath. Joseph explained the name, which means forget, as helping him forget his suffering. I tend to think that it was actually prophetic, that these mofos was going to help you to forget, Israel, that you were the fruitful one, that it was actually you that had the everlasting hills and the dew from heaven, that that covenant follows you, that they are supposed to be your servants, Israel. And I don't mean that like we were supposed to slave over them. You know what I'm saying? There's no handbook, unfortunately, for what that looked like. Because they made sure that in that city of scribes, they wiped out the memory of what that looked like when you was in charge. Let's keep going. As helping him forget his suffering, Jacob was the grandfather of Manasseh and his younger brother Ephraim, and adopted the two boys, right? So that's why I said, how does the Simeon come in? Huh? After Joshua died? We know how. They don't like the order. This was a common custom because adoption ensured inheritance. When he gave them his blessing before he died, like we talked last week, we don't know no Genesis 49. Judah's a goddamn lie, just like they lying as soon as they come in talking about they was chosen. They're a liar. And they still lying to this day, misleading people. You yelling Judah, you a fucking liar. This was a common custom because adoption required ensured inheritance. When he gave them the blessing before he died, Jacob prophesied that Ephraim would be the ancestor of a great nation. Wake up, Ephraim. It's you that's the great nation. You don't want this motherfucking t-shirt. Keep your fucking t-shirt, Judah. I want my fucking inheritance. His prophecy proved accurate. Manasseh married a Canaanite. You see it, right? You see it, right? Who? Who? Who else married a Canaanite? So these mofos turning blind eyes, marrying Canaanites, forming allegiances. Listen, this was beneficial to Canaan. They would get their land back just by marrying in. Right? This was beneficial to them. And settled in the Jordan Valley. His best known descendant was Gilead, son of Hezekiah. He succeeded his father as king of Judah. All right, so it is a descendant of Manasseh and ruled. The longest reign in its history fell under Manasseh's descendant. This stability, however, was not due to virtue. Jewish historians have called him the most wicked king in Judah's history because he introduced shameful religious practices and encouraged idol worship and magic. Often he shed innocent blood and constantly defiled whoever this person is. His son, and remember, we not honoring these people. This is who they're honoring. His son Ammon succeeded him, but was killed within 2 years. The Bible mentions 3 others named Manasseh, the husband of Judah, who died of sunstroke, the son of Moab, who married a foreign wife. What do you know? They're always marrying foreign wives. And the son of Hashub, who is also rebuked for having married a foreign wife. Both the last 2 Manassehs, however, put away their wives and exploited their sins. They still marrying them to this day, this silky goat. Look up, do yourself a favor and look up an Afghan hound. Do yourself a favor and look up a silky goat. That's all you've done, sir, is attach yourself to an Afghan hound. Don't play with me. Don't play with you. Listen, y'all having fun on these little like red pill channels and all of this, making fun right now. Hee hee ha ha, right? At the so-called black woman. Because you got yourself a silky goat. Listen, I hate to be you when mama returns. And y'all done made these foreign kids and contributed to these other nations. I would hate to be you. I really would. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Um, yeah, they was marrying these foreign wives like they do right now, and they come to you begging, don't want to go work, begging, don't got no jobs, talk about they need help to do this research when they ain't even researching this. They wrong every week. They wrong every week, and this is right in the book. But you so enamored. You committing the same acts. Yeah, listen, it's when you tune into this bullshit. You do have some accountability in this. So we don't need to get to the evaporating. No, this is actually good stuff. Vanquish. You know, when I think of that word evaporating, it kind of leads me to that word vanquish, to forget. Right? It was situated in the Northern Territory. What I tell you? They linking him to John, the Revelator. Do yourself a favor and go to Abraham Publications. A debt making to forget. See that? This was his room. I told you. I told you they don't want to honor you. They do not want to honor you, Israel. Look, here go Makir. Okay. Look, you're going to see them linked to that her down here. Pay attention to that. Pay attention. He is married to, he has this man with a concubine. Remember, Makir, the man of war, right? Right? He has this child. Manasseh has his child. This is his heir with a concubine of Arama, an Aramites. What was it? Joseph of Arimathea. Here goes Makir. Linked to that her name, that her, right? Pay attention, guys. This is how, let's go to see what Aram is. Ashriel is a concubine. It means elevated. See that? A citadel. Sorry, y'all, we was frozen for a minute. All right, Aram in the Bible. There is one country and several men named Aram. The country named Aram in the Bible is now called Syria, which lies directly to the north of Israel, the east of present-day Lebanon, and which capital was and still is Damascus. Aram/Syria is not to be confused with Assyria, which was a country and later an empire to the far northeast of Israel, present-day Iraq. In the wake of the Bronze Age collapse, the Arameans migrate from Mesopotamia south to Syria, which explains the similarity of the names of the two regions. Assyria's capital was Nineveh, of which today only ruins remain. The Greeks call it Syria. We're trying to link it to Semitic, a son of Shem, firstborn of Noah. These are people connected to the name. Etymology of Aram. Rotted and maggot riddled. This is interesting stuff, guys. See that? Being ripe and ready for harvest of fruits. Maggot riddled. Makes me think of our serpent, huh? The noun meaning citadel is thought to derive from a root which, according to the Theological Dictionary, is probably a biform of the verb rum. Wow. Which is identical to our name Aram. That means that the name Aram is possibly derived from the root that also gives us the word for citadel. The name Aram, in fact, may derive from the idea of a global capital, which John the Revelator called New Jerusalem. For a meaning of the name Aram, Dictionary of the Old Testament, proper name reads high, elevated. The list reads elevated. Well, just catching y'all up to this concubine that Manasseh is having a baby with. But remember, they tell us that he's married to a Canaanite. Okay, so he's all over the place. He's forming these allegiances too. You know, these men clearly don't abide by our covenant. It's right in your face. So if you get yourself one of these t-shirts guess that's because you ain't reading like we doing over here on this front line. I hate to be you. Much love to you guys. I'll see y'all next week.